Wamanje Belusondele Umamele Ifuno Amanawe
And with that, we are live. Hello and welcome to Thabo. Hello to you and to everybody that is in the proverbial building. Welcome to Friday. Welcome to Beyond Umuzi. It's so good to see that the comments are already live with action today. As always, I love being here. We've got some people from our ASEAN community dialing in from Kenya. We've got Nigeria in the building. We've got our South African community. So people, welcome. For those that know me, for those that don't, so happy to have you guys here. And Thabo, enough talking about me. I'm so happy to have you here. It's only been a few years.
Yeah, almost feels like a lifetime. But thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much. I miss being home. It's been like you said, it's been a minute since I was last at Umuzi. A lot has changed. It's almost the end of the world, but we survived.
We got through it, but look, it wasn't looking good for a little while there. Hey,
hey, I thought I'd never go to another festival again.
Well, thank goodness. Thank goodness we made it back. Okay. So just for those that are not super familiar with who you are today, I'll give you a small introduction. But as always, I'll never say too much because that's what you're here for, right? But Thabo Tsolo was a Umuzi learner back in his day, 2018, cohort 12 for those that are in cohorts. And he was a multimedia learner. And since then, he's been an animator. Since then, he's just been a wonderful presence. And now, most recently, the founder and CEO of his very own game design, Shindig. And that's all I'm going to say about you, Thabo. I'll hand over. For the people that are watching, we will hear from Thabo. He's got a story to tell us. And then we've definitely got lots of space for questions. So anything that comes up, you pop it in the chat there and we will get to your questions. We'd love to hear from you. We'd love to hear what you have to say. So yes, thank you for being here. And over to you, Thabo.
Thank you so much, Sarah. So weird just staring at a camera instead of like the actual audience. So if I keep looking to the left or the right, rather, I'm just checking out how I look. So I feel like I might be.
I thought we went over this. We're not going to do that.
But so yeah, can I get started right now?
Yeah, you get straight into it.
Ooh, okay, cool. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that introduction. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. I wish I could say this is my YouTube channel, but it's not. I don't have one yet. But thank you so much for taking the time to come listen to me talk about things that I know nothing about, but I am confident that it worked for me. So hopefully it'll work for you. About me. This is me. This is not my Tinder profile. This is a picture I took when I was at Umuzi. I still use it till today. I haven't changed, I'm not aging at all. Some call me a vampire. I don't know if that's true, but so I am a dreamer. I'm a creative. I'm a lover. I'm a spiritual being. I'm a leader, and I am fun, whatever that means. But that's just me in a nutshell, and then you'll see what that stuff means when I go through the presentation. But professionally, I'm a 3D artist. I'm a game designer, storyteller, CEO, animator, and Riz God. So if you guys know what Riz God is, it just means I'm fluent in English, and I can communicate well.
We don't know what is a Riz God, but now we do.
I know how to speak well, and then so I have done a lot in my solo career, but I think this is like one of my biggest achievements, biggest highlights of my career as an animator. So while I was still studying, I got a chance to work at Man Creatives, and I got a chance to work on a couple of shots for My Better World, which is a game based on like teaching kids like how to take care of themselves, good behavior, manners, like how to just be a good person in society. And fast forward to like 2022, this show, the series rather, won an Emmy, which is something that blows all my other achievements out the water because like an Emmy, I worked on some of the scenes on the show that won an Emmy. So this is something that I'm super proud of. And I was interning at the time, so just imagine you studying and okay, I didn't find out back then because they won later on, but if you would have told me this in the future, I wouldn't have believed it. So this is like one of my proudest achievements. And then, my next proudest achievement, which I'm gonna speak about, is my company that I co-founded, which is Space Salad Studios, and we started in 2019. So after I left Umuzi, after I graduated, I met up with a bunch of other game designers, artists, other creatives, and we started Space Salad Studios, which is a multi-award-winning gaming studio, and we specialize in gamification and turning social commentary into fun and educational games. So if you saw My Better World, if you know it, it's also like based off of social commentary. So it's something I feel like it's been my calling from the beginning. And our vision is to create games that have an impact on players' lives and create values in their community. And our mission is to gamify everything in the world until there's nothing left. Since this is a legacy project, I think we'll be able to do that even once I am gone. Yeah. So this is my amazing team, my
Lingo.
co-pilots. Um, yeah, I don't know if you can recognize who's who in the zoo, but yeah, this is like something that we do where we engrave or we it's like a shrine where we put people that we worked with, we take their baby pictures and create little astronauts out of them. But this is essentially the crew. And yeah, this is the crew as well. A couple of years later, this is what we do for fun. Just some highlights and some moments that we experienced together and that we cherish. And then this is some of our IP, some of the work that we've worked on, and we also co-produced as well with other studios we've collaborated with. And yeah, so there's in total 7 games, most of them award-winning, multi-award winning. We got number one, the first game that we've created, which is probably one of our biggest, Dopa Dash. We got number two, UZG, title zombie game about zombies. Third, Hot Buns, which I'll be speaking more about. Fourth is Wazi's Wardrobe, based on an animated series on YouTube. 5 is Raps, the game, which is based on an animated novel, which we helped animate, and you can find it on Showmax. 6, Pooh Weekly, which is Point of Order Weekly, and this is a game based on our political history post 94. And then we have number 7, Horny, which is a game about rhino poaching and what's this? Yeah, just endangered species fighting back poachers. It's a play on words, so it's like horn, knee, because it doesn't have a horn. You know, knee like no in Afrikaans. Yeah. And just like we make our own original games, we also make our own original music, which you can find on all platforms. We have a very talented sound design team, multi award winning and nominated as well. So when you get the chance, make sure you check us out on all these music platforms.
You're gonna have to
And
link us
also,
afterwards so we can share all of the good links with the people.
definitely,
Okay.
definitely. I'll share that with you, Sarah. And then awards and showcase. So since we started making games in 2019, when we finished our first game, we won Comic Con and Project X Africa. No, not Project X. Project Springbok. Sorry, Comic Con
Project X.
Africa.
That's a different category, Chomi.
That's a different award. That's a different award.
That's a whole other thing.
Yeah, but so that's the first competition we won. We were voted. We were going up against other African game studios, and we were voted best game in Africa in 2020. And then, yeah, the rest is history. You can see, I think most recent award or nomination rather was in Asia for China Joy, where we got nominated for best upcoming game, Grand Award, and People's Choice Awards. And yeah, and also our studio has been nominated 2 times in a row for Startup of the Year for Centec Tech Africa Week Awards, as well as Total Energy Startup of the Year. So this is something that we're really proud of. I have a feeling that if we get nominated again for Startup of the Year for the 3rd time, we're definitely walking away with it. Fingers crossed. And then here are some of the showcases. So we do attend a lot of gaming festivals. I'm glad that COVID ended because now we can attend these festivals physically and meet the people that play our games and other game designers as well. And most recently in 2023, we went to a Maze Festival, which is in Berlin, Indie Live Expo, which is in Asia, Steam Next Fest, which is a global event, Games for Games, US, also Mix Indie US, and Empower Youth Week, which is in Orange Farm. Keeping it low.
Well, before you move on, for the people at home, just go back to that previous slide.
Yeah.
What's going on here on the right hand side of this presentation? This hot buns artwork.
This is thanks to our designer Neo. Yeah, it's just hot buns. This is just some of the art that he's created for the game. I use it a lot in my pitch deck because, you know, the same way you wanted us to go back, it kind of like sparks.
It's a moment. It's a moment.
Conversation, you know what I'm saying? But it's parts. You can see hot buns on top. That's the brand essentially. That's what we're trying to sell. And I'm gonna go into more details about the game so that people know what the butt cheeks are for. You know.
Okay. We gotta know what the butt cheeks are for. We have to.
And then current position. So what we're busy with right now. So this is Hot Buns, tada! And Hot Buns is a game based off of the origins of twerking. Like I mentioned in the beginning, we specialize in social commentary and we create games and educate people. So we wanted to teach people about where does this dance move come from. A lot of people have a Western idea of what the dance move is about, like they associate with strip clubs or Migos or like hip hop music videos. We wanted to change that narrative, and that's why we created Hot Buns, where just like in the world that we live in right now, I'm not sure about now, but back in the day, you were considered as successful if you were like a lawyer or a doctor, and it was like that. It's like that in Utopia, where if you can twerk the best, you like level up or you rank up in society. But then there's things like sports or being talented or something like that, where you become an outlier. And Hoodie Olympics is something like that, where you can rise up the ranks in society or in Utopia and become like revered and respected by winning and participating in this event, which happens once a year. So yeah, that's the origins of twerking. That's Hot Buns, and move on to the next slide. So right now we got the opportunity to work with Black Voices in Gaming and Netflix for Accelerator program, where they're helping us
Unreal.
dev Hot Buns on mobile. So you guys should pretty soon have Hot Buns on Netflix and other platforms such as Xbox, PlayStation. That's something that we're working on behind the scenes. We want you guys to have as much fun playing this game as we had making it. And then, here are some of the platforms that Hot Buns will be on soon. And so back to business. Why you guys all came here. So this is success is subjective. That's the talk, but that's my theme. This is something that I live by. I might even have it tattooed on my neck, or not my neck, my arm one of these days. But success is subjective. This quote has given me so much peace of mind. Has given me peace because knowing that I determine my own success is so important, especially as somebody that's as competitive as myself, somebody that is who believes to be a trailblazer, somebody who's innovative, somebody who is in the business world and constantly is compared to or is trying to become the next gaming or the next big thing, the next big thing in gaming. This code has really grounded me, and I'm hoping that it'll help you guys as much as it has helped me in my journey and my career. So since I'm a game designer, I created a quick game. So I'm hoping that you guys can play with me. So it's pretty simple. We got two images. The game is called Who is Successful. We got two images, one on the left, one on the right, and then there's numbers underneath. So the question would be then, who is successful? So if you think picture number one is successful, you comment picture number one. Picture number two is successful, you comment picture number two. And there's no right or wrong answers here. It's just two images of people that are doing stuff. And I just want to know, in your opinion, who do you think is more successful? I think the picture on the right, she's probably a housewife, maybe she's a chef, I don't know, but it's all up to you. The one on the right says businesswoman, she could be a career woman. It's all up to you. So I'm gonna just give you 5 seconds, and then I'm gonna move on to the next slide. Just please answer it.
Let's see what we've got coming in the chat here. Let's see where says it's both. We've got a lot of neutral opinions here, both in their own ways. It depends on what they want from life. This is what they're saying. Zinhle saying it's both. Lumelo saying it's subjective.
Okay, I
These
like.
people are neutral. These people are there on the fence.
It's no fun. It's no fun. Come on, guys. Let's go for it. So I'm moving on to the next level. So again, same rules apply. Who is more successful? Who is successful? Not even more successful.
It depends what's in the bottle there. What's in that bottle? Then that will help me know if it's success or not.
It's probably coffee. It's probably brown liquor. I don't know. Like, there's a lot of money around, so I'm assuming it's some whiskey that I can't pronounce.
Okay.
But yeah,
cognac. That's good. again,
Okay.
we've got differing opinions from the people. We've got a lot of twos, but we do have some ones.
Okay. Okay. I like
Sibu
this. I like
says
this audience.
Sibu says if you're happy, it's a win, and I like that.
Nice, nice. I like the audience actually. Wow. I like them a lot. So I'm moving on to explaining the whole purpose of this game and just to share some quotes that I also live by as well that I've gotten from like I wouldn't say they're mentors because they're old. Some of them like don't exist anymore, but there's something that I've learned from them and their content still lives on till today. So for those of you said they're both successful, you guys are 100% right. For those of you guys that picked one or two, you're also right because um, Earl Nightingale, he's an American radio. What's the person who does radio? Yeah, and then
Personality.
he personality. Yes, thank you, Sarah, and an author. So he says this is his quote. He says success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. And then he further adds onto it that if a man or woman is working towards a predetermined goal and knows where he is going, that man is a success. If he is not doing that, he is a failure. And that's Nightingale. These are some of the words that I also live by because um, before I'd always compare success to the next person or what's classified as success or what other people are telling me success is. But once I started doing my own work, because I'm on a spiritual journey right now, like just being kinder to myself, being less anxious, and not being distracted by everything that's happening. I've come to learn that I can be successful, or any if I want to be if I want to be, I want to open up a dog parlor, and I do it, I'm successful. If I want to just chill at home and do nothing with my life, and that's what I want to do, I am success. I am considered success. So gone are the days where we box ourselves into thinking that being a lawyer or being a doctor or being this or being that is being successful. And I wanted to bring up another quote by Steve Jobs. Everyone knows who Steve Jobs is, but don't let the noise of others' opinions drown out your own inner voice. So, again, I'm just touching on to the noise. Um, the world that we live in today, there's so many things that could distract you, that could throw you off your game, that could even confuse you about who you are, and you might even second guess who you are because of so much information that has been put out there. And I've listed three things that, in my opinion, that I think contribute to the noise that make us lose out on the moments that we have with people and the things that we're doing and also not get to our full potential. The first
T,
one definitely gotta be,
can I
hello?
jump in? Sorry, I think there's a little muffle coming around your microphone. I don't know if you're moving something.
Let me close the window because the wind is blowing in. Maybe
Okay,
that's
maybe it's that. I think it's the wind. I think
just
it's
give
the
me a
wind.
second.
I wish I could call upon someone in the audience to tell a joke now. That's usually my next way of balancing, but there's no one here. Shame. I'll just take the heat. I'll just take it. Okay, it's back.
Let's go. Can you hear me now?
Yeah, all good. It already sounds better. Thanks, T.
No problem. So yeah, the first big noise creator for me is social media. I'm sure some of you have deactivated your accounts and reactivated them or deleted social media because it gets overwhelming where you're competing with unrealistic beauty standards or success standards or what you should be or what you shouldn't be, according to society. And that kind of stunts your growth as a person, and also taking care of yourself and being a lot more kinder to yourself. And again, reaching your full potential because that's what essentially this talk is about. The second thing is competition. So I grew up in a competitive environment, from primary up until high school, up into college, and I always compare competition to that saying of the grass is not always green on the other side, because when you do compete, you always strive to be the next big thing, not knowing what the next big thing is going through to maintain that level of success or whatever that they're doing that you're trying to compete with. So competition is also another thing that creates a noise and stops you from reaching, in my opinion, that stops you from reaching your full potential. There's this other quote, just couldn't find it, but I'm paraphrasing here. I think it says, successful people don't compete, they collaborate, you know? So that's also something to look at, where, because competition, because of the egos involved, you wouldn't even want to work with someone because you want to be better than them or you feel intimidated by them, you know? So that's number two. And then the last one is being off balance. So my definition of being off balance is not exercising mindfulness, not being in the moment, not being grateful for what you have, the things that we take for granted, you know, like the people that care about us, you know, like family, you know, like being able to wake up in the morning, you know, have a roof over your head. Those are the things that put us off balance and that stop us as well from being the best versions of ourselves. And, you know, because we're constantly comparing, we're constantly saying, my car is not good enough, my car is not fast enough, my house is not big enough, you know, I'm wearing a normal t-shirt instead of a Louis Vuitton or whatever, you know, not being grateful. And with gratitude comes you opening up portals or doors to your success and becoming good at what you do and reaching your full potential. So what makes you unique? You know, this is a quote from Albert Einstein. The person who follows the crowd will usually go no further than the crowd. The person who walks alone is likely to find himself in places no one has ever seen before. That's also another cool quote that I wanted to include here, because if you could find what makes you unique, and I'm going to give some examples as well of how I found something that I'm really good at that makes me unique, that I know hands down no one can beat me at, and that gives me peace and comfort knowing that I might not be good at a lot of things, but I know with that one thing, no one can stop me. So yeah, and that's essentially what the quote is saying. If you go with the crowd, again, with the noise, with the distractions, then you'll never go beyond um, your limits. You know, you're always gonna be the same person, have the same job, have the same life, and then you're gonna be miserable. You know, but if you go beyond and find who you are and chase your passion, then you find yourself like I did. You know, I've traveled because of doing the stuff that I've done. You know, being an outlier. You know, being alone. And the first one is you are amazing, like every one of you, you know, whether you're listening today, whether you're going to catch this episode another time, you are amazing. Don't let anybody make you feel like you are worth nothing or you're not the best version of yourself or the best thing ever, because you are one of a kind, like this image states. Another thing is, can you do whatever that you're pursuing with your eyes closed? So it might be hard to, at first, it might be hard to understand this, but I found my niche by, okay, so I have this thing where I overanalyze things around me and I try and put more often than not, I try to put myself in that situation and see how would I, if anyone was to ask me, what do you think about this topic, or how do I feel about a certain thing? How would I express myself if I was in that shoe, if I was in that person's shoe, or if I was in that specific situation? So that's my gift, me being able to tell a story or create content that explains something that I see, in my opinion, where I can draw from these people or these situations, draw insight from that, and create something that I can communicate with people using my gifts, and especially in gaming. So, what can you do? And that's like storytelling, but what can you do with your eyes closed? What are you good at? Like, is it easy peasy for you, lemon squeezy? You know what I'm saying? And then the last one is, what are your fears? You know, we all have fears, we all have insecurities. I'm learning to be more vulnerable now, you know, just being open with myself and being open with things that I don't like, that I do like, you know, also with my fears as well, because a lot of us, because of the noise again, a lot of us we wear masks, you know, we present ourselves in a certain way so that we, in fear of being judged, or in fear of things that we deal with, whether it's traumatic experiences or whatever, you know, we have all of these fears that stop us from reaching our higher selves, you know. And there's also fear of going back to the past or being that version of yourself. So why I brought up this slide is that there's so much there's so much power in fear. Like if you can use the fear that you have as a propeller or something to propel you forward, something that is chasing you, and you can push that that makes you move even faster forward, then why not? But you have to first identify it. You have to know what's stopping you from reaching the top, or overcoming certain things that you have, or feelings that you have towards a certain thing, or even pursuing your goals. So those are the three things that I feel make us unique, and three things that I've also used in my journey to identify what makes me unique, and how I started implementing it in my life, in my career, in my journey, and that has brought me this far. You know, I I'm not where I want to be, but I am successful, definitely 100%, and I'm able to grow my success and work with other people, to bring them on the same journey as I am, so that we can even grow faster and further. You know what I'm saying? And in closing, just another quote, last quote. Act as if it were impossible to fail by Dorothea Branda. And essentially that's it. We only have one life. We only have one life to live. The world is scary. COVID, I thought it was the end of the world. I thought we were not old, who might not be here, 2023. So just imagine if whatever you were doing today, or whatever you wanted to start, you knew for a fact that you wouldn't fail. Would you stop? Would you keep procrastinating? Would you stop doing it? Would you listen to everyone else's opinions about it? Or would you go for it? 100%, knowing that there is a guarantee that you won't fail. And that's the odds that we are faced with. Time, yes, time is a variable, but you're always gonna reach your goals. I think 2-3 years ago, I used to say that we want to be the best gaming studio on the continent. I used to say this to my team. I used to say that in interviews. I used to even tell people, like, wherever we go, to a point where they were annoyed. Like I used to tell them we're gonna be the best, or already the biggest. I already assumed that role. And fast forward to now, you can't mention gaming in Africa without bringing up our names. And that's a huge feat, because we being mentioned amongst the greats. Like studios that have been around for like 10 plus years, that are doing amazing things. So again, you will never fail. The only time you'll fail is if you don't try, and act as if it were impossible to fail. So thank you so much. Uh, this is me and my inner child saying bye.
This photo, yeah. Thabo, I feel like we just need to let that sink in. Let those words land, man. That was a really, really, really beautiful way of spending the last 30 minutes. So thank you. Thank you so much for taking time out of your day to just come here and be real. I think I value that so much in the world, where we can talk about massive successes, we can talk about what we've been doing, but something that is so rare is this sincerity and the authenticity that you speak with, and that's what I'm gonna take away from this. It's so cool, dude, and congratulations. These achievements are unreal. We've said Emmys, we've had Showmax being thrown out there, we've had Netflix. God damn it.
Yeah.
Bringing it.
We haven't even started yet. This is just the beginning.
And it's just the beginning, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. I think
I've got sharing my screen.
Yeah, let me take that down. I've got a question or two that I want to ask, and if anyone in the audience wants to send something Thabo's way, just pop it in the chat, and we'll call it in. But Thabo, maybe something just to open the floor for questions is, you mentioned quite a lot about your spiritual journey. You mentioned a little bit about being vulnerable, and I wonder what that has been like for you, because I know that it's a hot topic at the moment, right? Like, it's on Instagram and people are talking about it. But I think the experience of being vulnerable, for example, is not as glamorous. It's not something you can turn into a pretty picture on Instagram. And what has that been like for you? Like, what is the experience of being like even maybe being a male in your industry in South Africa, embracing something like vulnerability?
It's been I won't lie, like in the beginning, just like with anything, it was challenging. It was really hard for me to open up and really connect and be in my fields, like how what they call it nowadays. And I don't think it would have been possible without the people that I surrounded myself with, like my team, I speak so highly about them because they were able to help me through this changing phase, because when you compete, I was all of these things. I was like a jock at school. I was like overachiever, even like after high school, college, I was doing all of these things. I was my achievements. I was everything materialistic, and I was not myself. I never had the time to be myself. I never knew who I was, and I had a question where if I was to lose everything today, would I who would I be, and that hit me hard. It's a question that I ask myself all the time, especially like when I feel like I'm pushing too hard. I'm like, who am I after this? Yeah, I look good. I'm the favorite at family reunions, or like everyone talks highly of me, and they
Which is
revere.
valuable, but
But it feeds the ego. It doesn't feed me because
yeah.
again, who am I without these things? These are all things
Yeah.
that can perish, and because of COVID, because of like what's happening right now in the world, we have no control over what people think about us or what happens. Tomorrow, game designs could flop. Games could be the worst thing on the planet. Maybe it could be even a crime. I might go to jail because of that. But then you see what I mean? It's like the
Yeah.
question
Who are you after that? Who are you
who am
after
I?
you that these titles and
Yeah,
these achievements?
yeah,
What's
and you lose
underneath?
yourself. You lose yourself
Yeah.
because you're on this you're on this pursuit of the next thing, the next big thing. You hurt people
Mm,
in the mix of it. You lose out on
mm,
your identity, on yourself. So it was very difficult. I felt a lot of times like I was a loser. Felt like I wasn't good enough. I felt like I wasn't worthy. But at least, like I said, I was surrounded myself with people that cared about me, that tell me like, no, you're amazing. Like, just look at what you've done. Look at who you are. Like, like
mm,
these things don't mean anything because we know you for who you are. So right now, like,
mm,
I feel like and it's also a superpower. So now that I've been exercising it a lot more, I'm a lot more vulnerable. I'm a lot more open, and I'm also learning how to be kind to myself. And with that, doing all that self work and that shadow work has helped me also become a better person to other people. I'm not saying I'm perfect and I'm the most nicest human being or whatever. I do have,
no.
withdrawals because I've spent like most of my life being this person, and I've only started transitioning now. So I do get my days where I'm like, I feel bad or I'm that guy again, but I always reflect a lot, and I'm always conscious of it, where at least now I'm aware of it, and I know next time I shouldn't do it, or I'm more conscious of what I do or say to people. So
I hear
it's
you.
more of a superpower, and I think people should understand that, and they should stop going with the crowd, and also don't get me wrong, like it's also not easy to, you can't just be vulnerable with everyone because some people are just like, we
Yeah,
have
it's
narcissists.
tricky. It's
Yeah,
tricky.
we have people that weaponize that, but again, if you detach yourself from all of these things and from people and not holding on to stuff, there's a saying by Lao Tzu where it's like, you can't hold water with a clenched fist. You gotta keep your palms open. You don't own anything. You don't own anyone. So if people use your kindness or your vulnerability, always leave room to let go, or room that they might leave you, so that you don't
Mm,
get hurt. You don't wind up clinging on to that energy or that manipulation that they might be using. So it's like I said, it's a learning process, something that I do every day. Yeah, and I'm loving it. I'm at peace. I'm so content right now where I'm at, and yeah,
mm.
it's been good.
I'm not even gonna respond. I'm just gonna let that land right there. But in the meantime, I'm gonna pull up some questions. We've got some coming in here. So we've got something from Lungelo. What does Lungelo say? So, question: animation is a second passion of his. How does one make make their start in the animation industry?
Good question. Just start. Just start. Like I can't tell you like how to do it because your journey is different from mine. When I started out, so animation's always been a thing. It's always been big in the country. There hasn't been like real like drought or any because even like government institutions fund animation opposed to like gaming. Like you can't really get a grant or funding locally for games, but animation has been accepted or received well. There's places that you can visit like Home. They have like a whole animation camp. I don't know this Lungelo, where you from? I'm assuming SA. But Dane Brown, you can check them out. If you already like you're saying it's your second passion, I'm assuming that you might have started or you started drawing or have like some work that you've created. I think also putting your work out there is really important because that's how I started. I used to flex about my work no matter how ugly it was. Like I had my portfolio.
You really did.
I was that guy. Like I'll be at a party and I'm showing people my animation, my work animations, and the response was never negative because how often do you see people doing like animation or like how often do you meet creators of that stuff? A lot of people are amazed by animation, games, like work outside of the norm because everyone knows 9 to 5s, everyone knows the casual jobs or not the casual, the ordinary jobs. But when they meet an animator and they see your work, whether it's good or bad, people are gonna be like, wow, as long as it's put together nicely, and then you can also back it up with like your personality and say, yeah, this is what we're doing, blah, blah, blah. I think that's for me, that's what I did. That's I'm like, I don't know how's your journey or where you at right now, but I'll just say start, man. Put your stuff out there. Let people know you do animation.
Lungelo's in South Africa and he's got some doodles. So the advice there is just start and show the people your things.
Yeah, until they get annoyed. There's this saying that I like by Jelik, the piano artist, and he's like, you must foster, like to a point where even when people see you walk in the room, they're like, there's this guy, hey, he's gonna come here and show us his drawings. And look at him now, way easy. He's like one of the biggest piano artists, on the planet, and look at me. I'm not the biggest, probably biggest on the continent, but I'm still growing. I'm still learning, and I'm still doing the same thing. I show people my portfolio. Like I haven't changed because that's how proud I am. I take pride in my work and what I love. And it's essentially the essence of this talk is subjective. If you're good at something, then why be selfish with it? Just show the world that you can do it and help others because you don't know how much joy your stuff can bring to the next person. So just go for it.
There's it. Nice one. We got another question from Whitney calling in from the United Kingdom, Sheffield.
Ooh.
So, how do you find your tribe in your industry? Do you feel like you meet like-minded people that you really connect with?
Yes and no. Because I'm an extrovert, so I'm always talking. I'm always talking to people, and I have this. That's why I call myself a risk god and my teammates always like calling me out on that, but not in a negative way. But it's like I know how to communicate to people and make them feel good. Like I don't know how I do it. I think I get it from my dad. It's like genetics, or my mom as well, because they like socialites. So I know how to like communicate with people, but that doesn't mean that it's easy to find my tribe because I have people that I also talk to because I have to, but not necessarily because I want to or I'd like to work with them, and it's normal. It's nothing to be afraid of or ashamed of, where you find people that you might not gel with immediately, or you might not gel with at all. So I think it's like you knowing what you want as well and understanding your core values. Like if you're a hard worker, try and find people that work as hard as you because it's gonna annoy you chilling with people that don't work hard and then you're the only one that's working hard, especially if you're in the team together, or if you like having fun, or like there's certain characteristics that you have and values, especially because I was watching this other podcast and they were talking about you create 2 relationships in your life, like the first relationship is like when you're a kid, depending on where you were brought up or where you were born, that the circle of friends that you make them because you were born in that environment. there was, you guys are destined to be friends in a sense, and then this the friends that you make in the future who have similar values, but they on a different mindset, because you might have a best friend that you grew up with, but they don't have the same values or goals as you do, and you guys fight, or there's like tension now and then because there's no understanding of where you guys are both on different places. But then in the future you meet up with like people with the same characteristics or the same values as your childhood friends, but they on like their hustle is on another level, or they like the same things you do, you guys take care of each other like that. So how do you find your tribe in the industry? Like, go to these places, meet up with people. Don't be shy to speak to people. Like, best way to start a conversation is compliment someone's shoes, or like compliment
That's good
something.
advice, man.
Yeah, and it breaks the ice because everyone's just so tense, Like everyone's just, yeah. So yeah, just be open.
Nice. There's a theme to all these answers, which I think I'm getting, which is cool. Okay, we got 2 more questions. Liam's got a technical question, so let's pull it up. Hey, Liam, thanks for being here. And Liam's asking, what tools or frameworks and languages do you use for the games that you develop in terms of animation, game functionality, 3D, 2D modeling, design? This is a big question. If it's a trade secret, what would you suggest?
So we use Unity. The nice thing about Unity, yeah, there's no secrets. Like you can find this also on the internet. But the nice thing about the gaming industry is that there's so many tools, like even like open source tools, like free software that you can use to make your game. Like Unity is free, except for what has happened now. So after 2024, I think it might be more pricier. But like the version 2024. But like there's Unity, there's Unreal Engine, there's Godot. That's like your gaming engines that you can use, and they're all free. There's also for animation, for like 2D animation, you can use Dragon Bones. That's free. You can use Toon Boom Harmony, which is paid for. That's what they also use for like these big high-end animation studios. They use Toon Boom or Harmony. And then there's for 3D, there's Maya, which is super expensive. But there's also the alternative, which is just as good now. It's getting better and it's free. It's called Blender, and you can do all of your 3D stuff in there. There's also like things like Maximo, where it's an Adobe package. I'm advertising these guys. Hopefully one day they'll pay me for this. But
it's gonna be a resource. Don't worry.
But there's Adobe Mixamo, where you can, like, if you don't know how to animate but you have 3D characters, like you can copy and paste the animation from Mixamo and put it on your own character and like add it in the game. So there's so many tools that you can use in the industry and that's why the gaming industry is the biggest industry, because no one can control it. No one can like own it, because there's so many free tools to use. There's so many packages. Like even now with ChatGPT, you can even code without having any coding knowledge. You know what I'm saying? There's also visual scripting where you can plug in nodes, without having to code at all. And the language we use for Unity is C#. So yeah, I think I answered all your questions.
Thabo, I think what we'll do is we need to put together a little links package to share after this. So a few plugins for Space Salad, a few plugins for your music, and then some of these good recommendations that you've made, because I think that's sharp. And maybe we'll throw your presentation in there for all the good advice. Another question. This is a nice one to seal off the chat today. How did Umuzi help your journey to where you are right now, if it did? No pressure.
No pressure. Yeah, like I'm trying to, because it feels like it was just yesterday, and I was a bit of a wild card at Umuzi. I was young.
Yo, you don't have to tell us. We've seen it, Tommy. We've seen it.
But when you're young, like fresh out of high school, fresh out of college, I mean, the world was I felt so not
free.
Couldn't be like, I was not free, but like I felt like I was unstoppable. Like I was this energy, and I was
invincible, yeah.
So I used to like always probe questions, because I never wanted to work for anyone. I was like always like, when are you guys gonna do the entrepreneurial thing? When are you gonna do this? When are you gonna teach us business? But what I learned at Umuzi is community. Like nothing is more important than community, like the people that you have. That's why I'm saying that if it wasn't for my community, I wouldn't have been able to gain this insight, and even Umuzi, it's in the name as well. Like there's so many, like especially it's crazy because we have to work together for our survival as people, but like it's hard to work with people in general. Like people have their own feelings, emotions, bad days, whatever, their own upbringing, and blah blah blah. There's a lot of noise, And again, back to the topic, there's a lot of noise. But if you can conduct work and put people together towards a certain goal, like one unified vision, that's amazing. That's like godlike. That's like powerful. And that's one thing I learned from Umuzi. They were able to help so many people despite anything, like any negative feedback, positive feedback, whatever else happening. But they're still doing that even now. They're able to put people together despite their backgrounds, differences, and they were able to push the mission, and that is to help people find, like their purpose, like in the career space, in the professional space, teaching them skills. My sister went to Umuzi as well. Like my cousin went to Umuzi. Both of my cousins, it's like a family thing. Like I have relatives, like it's like a family tree. And they can also like they can also like confirm what I'm saying. It's like testament to the work that they're doing. So what Umuzi has helped me with my journey is that unity, that community, that bringing people together, and despite your differences or whatever, you can always fix that. But as long as we can all come together for something like a common goal, then nothing can stop you. Then you have that energy that I had, but in the collective, which is a lot stronger and it lasts longer because you do burn out. So yeah, that's what I
Nice one. Yeah, I think that's such an important thing to say, and it's something that I think the community at large at Umuzi is trying to figure this out, right? Because we don't have the joy of the Joburg office anymore, but we do have something which is maybe special in a different way, which means we are all over the show. We got Cape Town office, not actual office, the figurative offices. We got people in the Eastern Cape, we got people in Durban, we got people in Joburg, and we're always looking for more ways to allow the community to connect and create spaces for that, because it can be so valuable. There's some pressure in the comments here. Things are getting heated, so we want to really bring Zalama's message up to light. So he's asking, when or how did you know that it was time to start your own thing, your own studio, and not already joining a game design studio that already existed? Like what happened that you knew?
I always had it in me. Like I was one of those. I always knew I was a leader. I was a born leader. Like I was always either a prefect or outseer, whatever you guys call it in school from primary. I was always
Class captain.
Class captain. I was always like sports captain. In high school I was like a captain for 3 sports. Like I just like that independence. And I somehow, some way, which is kind of toxic, but I also like the pressure of people depending on me. I feel like it gives me purpose. Like knowing that I can, in my own capacity, help others. Just that notion. I also don't like taking orders. If I'm being also honest, like I can collaborate, but I don't like it when I'm being told what to do, or I don't like it because I've worked before and I've had like toxic relationships with some bosses, or I've worked with people that are like really toxic where they'll undermine your work and stuff like that. So it's always, for me, there's like a lot of factors that contribute. But I think from a young age, like I knew that I never wanted to work for somebody or sign a like clock in, clock out of work. I knew that there's so many things that I want to do. I don't want to be contained in one place. I just want to grow and expand as much as I can. And I knew with business, that's the only way I could do it. That's the only place that could offer me the time, the luxury, and also financial success to do all of these things, to invest in other ideas, to work with other people, to spread my reach or spread the ideas that I have to like a global audience. You can't do it like working for someone, but obviously there's limitations. Now the only limitation is me. If I don't work today, I don't go far. So yeah, it's always been in me.
It's empowering and it's stressful though, it's a bit of both things.
Yeah. But you gotta take everything with a pinch of salt.
Nice one. Okay, so that's a feeling you've had for a long time. But another question from Zalama is, what is it that you, wow, can't read. What is it that you think have played a crucial role in helping you make a name for yourself in the industry as a startup? So what's gotten your name out there? How have you done that? What have you done?
Forster, like posting and liking things, like I said, and Sarah also, she confirmed it as well. I was that guy. I'd show everyone, look, this is me, I do this, like I'd enter competitions, like whatever, like I'd see a post online and I'll apply for that. I see something online, I'll apply for it. I go somewhere, I talk about my work, I was literally always selling myself, always selling the work that we're doing, always selling my team, always like, to a point that even now, like people still do that where they're like, ah, here's this guy, like, and then they smile with me, but like they don't want me around because they know, like, and I don't do it deliberately. Like I'm not being like an ASS about it,
An ASS, I
but
think
like,
it's okay. You can say that word here. It's fine.
but yeah, like an S, like I don't do it deliberately to like down dim other people's shine or whatever, I'm very collaborative, and anyone that has worked with me knows that. But like, it's just that unfortunately, sometimes when you like, people again, like when you work with people, sometimes people might not understand your energy or where they're coming from, or also they have certain things that they're going through that they project on you or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because there are people that respectfully tell me, or they call me to the side and like, I thought now it's not the time, and I'm like, okay, cool, I'll stop, sharp. But then there's people that like, I just they don't want to hear about what I do or what I'm about, or like almost sabotage for whatever reasons. But I just like, I've just been that guy. I've just been like, because I love what I do. I believe in what I do. I'm proud of it. I take a lot of pride. I work so hard to produce the work that I've done. I go through so much, and the little bit of joy I can get from like showing people and giving people the experience, because also there's also a fine line on when to stop, because you might dumb it down or keep quiet, but then you now like silencing your joy and silencing the work that you do that could also help other people, you know what I'm saying? So I've always been talking about my work, like I'm always sharing my work, I'm always, and yeah, man. And I'm getting to a point where people are talking about my work now, so I don't have to talk about it so much, like
It's
so
happening. It's
good.
coming back.
Yeah, and I love it, I'm grateful.
I think the thing that links to that is this what you're saying is like putting yourself out there and doing that relentlessly. But I think I'm gonna take one more question from Liam, but I just want to ask a follow-up question to that, because it can sometimes sound a bit glamorous, not you specifically, but when someone's telling a story and there's all these big wins and then there's this good advice. But what is the role of failure played in this as well? Because I'm sure there have been moments where you as you say, you show somebody something and they don't like it, or you pitch an idea and it doesn't land, or you apply for the funding and you don't get it. Like, has that been because we've got to weave that sort of realism in there as well, right? Where you do put yourself out there and it doesn't always go well.
Yeah. And that's also comes with being vulnerable, like this is something that I've been also exercising a lot. Like, it's not as glamorous as I might make it sound. It's just I'm very passionate about what I do and I really love it, but like it's not always passionate. Like, I think we get like 8 no's before we get 1 yes, so we've gotten accustomed to like being rejected and calling it whatever it is, like we have a bunch of sayings in our company that we use just to, we don't focus too much, and we also don't put too much expectations on something. Like, we usually get things overnight, not overnight, but like I'd apply for something and I get a response in like 4 months and I completely forgot about it. And I've been getting like bad news back to back. I'm not this client didn't come through, or we didn't get paid this month, or we lost this, or this thing got rejected. Like there's so many no's that happen, but we just huddle up, we just focus on the main goal. And then when we least expect it, it got to a point where we started like recording the patterns in the company. We like know when it's our time to go down and when it's our time to go up. This months where we don't go, like we don't get any money, get paid, you know what I'm saying? But there's still money that's coming in somewhere, somehow. So I don't know. It's not glamorous like I say it is, but like it's a miracle how we still here. 4 years later, we keep going up. No funding, no support, no corporate support or anything like that. We've been doing things by ourselves and with like community, with like people that love our stuff and support us. And that's like why we keep doing what we're doing and why we keep growing and becoming this force in the industries, because we always on the ground, like we always like be the underdogs. Like Sarah, you should see, like when you go to these festivals, like we just have a table and a chair and like a TV screen, and then there's like a line of people wanting to play our game, and then we look around and we look at other studios and they're like, which is not a good thing, but like obviously you're gonna compare, but like there's no line.
Energy, man, the energy doesn't lie.
Like we don't have money. We literally had to like all come together in one car to promote our stuff and look.
Yeah.
I remember it was crazy one time where we were in Orange Farm, and then we were presenting. We had a store and stuff, and in that festival, in that hall, there was a bunch of other companies. Forgot their names, but the only thing that had a line as long as ours was like a company that was giving away free money.
Whoa.
Free money. We were competing with free money, and there was our line had more people wanting to play our games, to a point where we even had to chase people away because some people were so invested in hot buns. And this is hot buns, it's so competitive, so fun. But we didn't even have like money to get there. How we got there, I don't know. But like
doesn't
these
matter.
are the things that keep us going, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. So it's not easy, it's tough. But if you have a good team, if you have your vision, your sights set on something concrete, and you guys work together, then you're unstoppable. Because even big businesses have bad days, like everyone does. But
and it's real. Like you're telling such a real story, and it's not like, it doesn't feel like far away in a sense of like how all these beautiful big things, big sponsors, big money. It's actually not. But that makes it so much more robust. So thanks for telling us all these things. Final question, and then we'll shut it down. But Liam wants to know, so when deciding to create a new game, is it a spontaneous idea or do you plan it out before? Like, I want to make a 2D scroller, for example. What fuels or sparks your ideas for the games that you make?
Hey Liam, it sounds like you're a gamer, man. It sounds like you really want to go into gaming. Usually, I come up with the concepts. It's usually from something that I experience, something that it's spontaneous, but I feel like it's not, because subconsciously I've been cooking it in my head and engaging with like the various topics. We usually come up with ideas are like game jams. Game jams are like hackathons, but like we make games in that time period. And then this is when they'll give us a theme. Like the theme would be maybe success, for example. And I'll think, okay, what is success? And I have a spin-off of whatever idea that I have that was already cooking. Like now I've been like conceptualizing a game about like a begging simulator. Like there's a lot of homeless people now that stand by the robot. Like how can we simulate that, and how can we give the player an experience to like, how does it feel to be homeless? So that's like how the idea would come, because I'm seeing a lot more people at the robots now. A lot of homeless people. Some of them I do engage with them. That's how the game Dopa Dash was also created, because of the guys that recycle, that come and recycle in my neighborhood. We had a couple of conversations. I even went to where they stay. Like just getting that information and learning about them, and that's where the juice comes in. Like the essence of the games. But I'd say it's a bit of both. I don't think you can have super spontaneous idea because it's like something that trends now, like one hit wonder basically. You always have to have something driving it or some form of motivation behind the game so it can grow and you know and outlive you. Because I think that's also why you'd want to make a game. You want to make a game that's gonna live forever.
Nice. I think as a final thing, you mentioned it right in the beginning about your games being tied into social commentary and having really like poignant social themes, which people are going to remember, and it's also going to mean something to somebody more than just like another game that does the thing, which is unbelievable. I've never seen anything like that, and that's what is so special. Liam says, it seems like you look for experiences that are relatable and try to gamify them.
Yeah. Because the consumers, it's you and me, it's us, it's people, I was having a conversation just last night about it with my business partners. They came over and they were like, Need for Speed is a big game because people love cars, Grand Theft Auto is a big game because wouldn't you want to commit crime and not go to jail,
I was going to say, what do people love about that?
Like you want to steal a car, you want to do, like ratchet things, So if you can, and that's something I also learned from Umuzi, is like the human-centered design. It's like how you do how you create something for the consumer, And if you can do that, like if you look at IPs that have like crossed billions, like biggest IPs on the planet, like Pokemon is like up there, like highest grossing of all time. They created a game, like a concept about like these animals, that they train and they use to fight. People love animals. Some people love animals for different reasons, but like that concept lives because people and the obsession with like exotic animals and things like that. So when I create, when we create as a studio, it's like, how do we find that? How do we find that gap? And we've always been successful, and I always like, I even have I photoshopped it, but it's gonna be real one day where, we always gotta manifest. It's like a list of highest grossing IP of all time, and our work is there, So yeah, as long as you can focus on the humans, because I hear this chat about AI and machines, and it's unfortunate, it's a good thing, but it's unfortunate because you'll be at Home Affairs one day and you have to like scan your face, but maybe you got a big pimple, and now they can't give you an ID because the pimple is messing with the face recognition. But like if you have somebody who's human that's sitting on the other side, they can see it's you, and you can conversate with them. We literally had something like this happen to us yesterday. One of my business partners, we're at the bank, and we're fixing something that it didn't pick up his fingerprints, it didn't pick up his face. It picked up my fingerprints, my face, and my other business partner, but it didn't pick up his face. He didn't exist on the machine. But because we were there and we were speaking to the lady, she was able to help us out because she could see us. The ID is there, but the machine was rejecting her. So it's a good thing that AI and machines are upgrading, but you're always doing stuff for the human experience because we're here for a short time, a good time, not a long time.
Yeah. I love how it always comes back to design thinking. I think in so many ways, human-centered design thinking, interchangeable terms. But we still, believe it or not, Thabo, like we still start every cohort with a make us better, make Umuzi better sprint, where we go through the process. We build a prototype for an app or for a service or something, and it just shows sauce. It's the magic sauce, there.
Yeah, you can't get rid of that one, eh?
No, we won't. Okay, but we are good. We've seen to all the questions. Thank you to everybody who came through, man. We had such a solid crowd of individuals here today. And Thabo, thank you to you for being a real person and for telling us how it is, sharing your magic. We love you back home. We love you, and it's a pleasure to see the incredible things that you're doing out there.
Thank you so much, Sarah, for having me. Thank you, Umuzi. I love you guys too. And yeah, let's do more things together, man. This was fun. I enjoyed this.
Let's do it. shout out. We'll definitely want to see you back here. 1 year's time on Netflix, Netflix Games, Showmax, and more.
You know this, man.
Peace out, everybody. Have a beautiful weekend. Bye. And